Hi, everybody, and welcome to GLP's 10 out of 10. And today we have with us from Las Vegas, Michael Keller. Michael is an award-winning lighting designer and director who started his career in the concert touring industry after deciding that performing on stage was not really cut out for him. More recently, with his company, Armo Lighting, Michael has worked more in the corporate events industry as well. Over his career, he's designed shows for artists such as Tina Turner, Billy Idol, John Mayer, and Aerosmith. Michael has also been honored with a Parnelli Award for his lighting direction work. However, Michael is probably best known as the lighting director for Black Sabbath, the English band fronted by the charismatic Ozzy Osbourne, with whom he worked for 20 years and was there as they concluded their final show of their The End tour in their hometown of Birmingham. Welcome, Michael Keller.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be amongst the names that you've had already on your show. Mr. Woodruff, Mr. Cohen. I'm just honored to be here. Yes.
Yeah, it's great to have you here.
Oh, and Mr. Weber, I have to throw Mr. Weber in there because without a Mr. Weber,
right,
this would be nothing.
You and Ethan have a great relationship, right?
Oh yeah, and it's ironic that we never really get to tour together, but we do. We got to work together on a lot of corporate stuff, which
wow,
friendship
right.
from there.
In fact, I remember being on a social with the pair of you, which was quite the evening. We'll keep that story for time. So let's get started then. So off with our first question. What was your first show as a designer?
Well, I started out working in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, for a promoter, Bill Graham. And he had a production company called FM Productions. And I was their in-house LD. Well, and it was in the late 70s, and I had, the long hair and the hippie type vibe going. And this band, they hired us, and they were called the Commodores.
Right.
And I, being a San Francisco kid, I had no idea who in the hell the Commodores were, but I was hired to be their LD. And so, we designed this rig, and the only reason we got the account is we had one of the prototypes for a board that had Chase in it. So their lighting director just wanted to have a board that he could turn on and walk around and let the lights do this by themselves. It's quite brilliant.
Let the technology take over.
Yes.
Wow, that must have been fun. I mean, obviously that was a I guess a seminal time in the development. Working with Bill Graham up in San Francisco at the time. Very
lucky and very. I was the lighting director at Winterland in his last couple of years of his existence, and got to see many, many acts and learn from many, many designers, the ins and outs of lighting. So I was very lucky. It was a great time to be in the business.
Right, as it was all coming together, as it was all developing and turning into a proper industry. Let's say. So obviously that's taking us back to the beginning of your time, and obviously a great career so far. We're asking everybody, what's the one that you're going to tell us about? Because I'm sure there's plenty of stories you don't want to tell us about. But what was the embarrassing, the Spinal Tap moment that you can recall, where everything just seemed to be going so well, and then it all came crashing down around you?
I did think about that, and it dealt back with there's a Lionel Richie tour, which we were just doing a bunch of one-offs, and we were in Egypt, in Cairo, in front of the pyramids, and it was before cloning became a real normal thing.
Right.
And halfway through the show, I hit a cue, and all the lights go out and start resetting, because we had gone from studio colors to Max 600s or something, and their channel arrangement. What the studio fellow was supposed to do was telling the Max 600s to all reset. So the entire place just goes dark, except for the spots on Lionel. And it's like, oh, this is, oh, God. And then slowly, they keep popping on, you know. I was like, oh, this is not a good day.
That was not good. And certainly,
and it was the TV shoot, you know, it's like, oh, this is just awful.
An iconic venue in front of the pyramids. Yeah, for something like that to happen. Yeah, at least you had the spots, I guess, to rely on.
Yes, I mean,
saved the day.
You can say it was an artsy light cue, you know.
That's right. Yeah. So what do you think is the best piece of advice that anyone's ever given you, professionally or otherwise?
I think in reality, you just never stop learning. You can learn from anybody. Not a rookie could come in with an idea and you go, instead of just dismissing that could help you in the long run, you know, or help me in the long run.
Right.
I mean, there's so much to learn, and with the new technology, you have to stay abreast of that, and you know, it's very important to keep yourself refreshed in what's going on out there, and not tread on what you know. You know, keep learning.
Keep learning. That's true. I mean, I think that's true for everybody. That's right. That's great. You can, and I think I've heard you mention before, you know, and as you say now, you know, you can equally learn from somebody who's older and more experienced than you, as well as somebody who's younger and
exactly. Yeah.
starting out.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's great. Professionally, what would you say is your proudest achievement?
I thought about that, and at the time, I probably didn't realize it. I was filming back in the day at Winterland and the Martin Scorsese film, and that was very, very, turns out to be a big part of history. But there's been so many things over the years, it's hard to really just pick something out. I've done the Olympics, you know, and then not as a designer, but as an operator. But you know, there's so many different things. The final shows at Black Sabbath were amazing. And
yeah, I could imagine.
And just to be there. It's hard to say exactly what was the most iconic moment. Maybe winning the LDI award was very important.
Right.
It was very important being recognized amongst my peers. So,
getting older.
That could be, yeah. I'll give you a bunch of them. You can
pick your favorite. But that's great that you've got, you know, a series of achievements like that you can. It's difficult to pick one. I mean, that just shows what a great career you've had.
Oh yeah, and I've been very blessed. I must say, to be able to do what I enjoy doing. It's not really work when you enjoy doing it.
And then you get paid for it on the side as well.
Well, you used to.
All right. So
it's a whole different story, I tell you. I've turned into a musician. I've learned how to make my money disappear.
That's a special art. A special art.
I got that one down pretty well.
So obviously we're in the pandemic still, and we're all under some different levels of lockdown. What do you, when you're not out there working on shows, what do you normally like to do in your downtime? And this, I've got to say, this is wonderful. I've never seen anything like it. It looks, you know, large in terms of the size of the trains and the track and everything, and large in terms of its scale. That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah, I enjoy it. My daughter helps build, we have like a park, a ranch area, a little city, you know. It's just a great little escape from reality.
Right.
And, you know, I try not, you know, I've been a fan of model trains my entire life. and this brand of train is called LGB, and it's a German brand train. And that was back in the 80s. I was in Nuremberg where the factory was, and I wanted to tour the factory. I didn't own any because it was quite expensive back then. And I went through the tour. I went and took the tour, and at the end of the tour, I gave the owner's son 4 tickets to the concert. So he gave me this starter set, and then I thought, well, now I'm hooked. Damn it! And then every time I'd go through Germany, I'd always have them come to the show, and luckily for me, they'd bring me presents. It was like, oh, this is great. So some of these pieces are, 30 and 40 years old almost. So
that's incredible.
I've been collecting all that time.
What a great story, and great that you've kept that relationship and that friendship going across all those years.
Yeah, no, it was wonderful. Unfortunately, on the sad note, unfortunately, the company had its downfall during the 90s or the early 2000s, and it was purchased by another company who's keeping it going. Right. There's some bad juju there for a while there.
That's
part of life.
I guess that's but that's a phenomenal project out there behind you. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You've traveled the world, as you say, and been to some iconic places and worked on some iconic shows. Do you have a particular favorite venue that you enjoy working in?
I have to say, Mr. Cohen nailed it with Madison Square Garden. It is an iconic venue. And for beauty, maybe Red Rocks. But I think for beauty, history, and everything, I would say the Colosseum in Verona, Italy.
Okay.
Right there, you have to think about what has taken place and how long it's been there. And to be part of that, to be in this venue, and which is still working, it is phenomenal to think about the history that's gone in there.
Yes, all of it.
Probably all the gladiators and people getting butchered out there. It's like, whoa, God, this is amazing.
That's true. That's true. If there's ever, an ancient, absolutely ancient.
And it still works, which is truly, truly amazing. I'd love to see an opera in there. That would be amazing to see that.
Right. I've having that venue in Italy, one of the homes of the big operas, that's got to be a phenomenal experience. Yeah.
I'll have to ask Patrick to set me up with that somehow. Somehow I know he'll be able to do that. That's the best part.
They'll come back. I'm sure they'll come back. Is there one musical artist, or one musical album that you would just not be able to live without, especially again during these times when we're under a certain amount of lockdown, or if you were to get stranded on a desert island? What's the one piece of music you'd always want to have close to?
I thought about this also, and I would say Gustav Holst's The Planets.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I used to listen to it religiously, and it's just such an iconic piece of music that takes you on a journey without any words, and it's just, it sets the tone and mood for so much just in its music.
Right. Yeah. As you say, and it's a long piece, so that's
Or I could say Peter Morris's solo album, which he did a long time ago. I got to give Peter, because he's been such a mentor to me over the years also.
Right. That's great. Great choice. If you were to casting your mind back to the teenage Michael Keller, if you could go visit him and offer him one piece of advice, what would that be?
Stay in school, don't do drugs, and you'll never have to work in this business again. Oh, gee, I could have had a 401k. Damn. I would never change it, though. I wouldn't even listen to myself on that one.
Right. Yeah, what are you thinking about, old man? Get out of here.
And I was like, man, hello. I've had moments in my life that some people can't even dream about. So I'm very, very blessed.
But that's great when you say, you wouldn't change a thing. Everything worked out for the best all the way through.
How many people get up in the morning and do what they like to do all day? Even though we bitch about it. Oh no, this crappy venue. What are we doing here? Okay. And then it turns out the shittiest venue will have the best show ever in there. It's like, oh man, it was
great. Yeah. It all comes together.
Oh yeah, it's true. It's all about the people in the audience that make the show, and you're there for them. And
that's right.
Yeah, that's right. When you do a lighting cue and you feel them react to what you've done, and you're just part of the machine, but at the same time, you know that little bit enhanced the show that much more.
Right. Made it all that more special for everyone who's in the room. So if you had the opportunity to sit down with one person for a cup of coffee or a cigar, either living or dead, who would that be?
I love comedy. I think comedy is one of this arts to make people laugh, and I would love to sit down with Robin Williams in the 80s for like a 3-night bender and just enjoy every part of that man's brain that would come out, because he was so on top of it and so witty and just so ahead of himself even. He would go on tangents and the tangent would take a half hour, but all of a sudden it would go full circle to where it was, where the tangent started. It was like, oh yeah, an amazing person. And comedy to me, I met John Cleese once, and that was like a moment in my life. It's like, I've worked with all these rock and roll people over the years, but you've made me laugh, and that's a special art.
Right.
I think
that's brilliant. That's growing up in England, meeting a member of Monty Python is almost like meeting a Beatle.
No, actually, it was on a Beatle. I was on the Paul McCartney tour where I met Mr. Cleese, and it was just a backstage hello, But when I first met Paul, I was like, oh, God, this is Paul McCartney, By the end of the tour, it's like we were playing Nintendo with the son. I'm in the dressing room. He walked in, and it's like, not now, Paul. We're playing Nintendo. How dare you talk while we're in the middle of a game? What a lovely man, and he's such a lovely man, and very family oriented, and it was just really wonderful.
I've heard that about him. I've never had the chance to meet him, but I've heard that about him. He's really, really friendly.
I think comedy would be the way. If I had anybody, probably Robin Williams. Just because of how brilliant he was.
But Robin Williams, that's a great choice, and I think you picked the right time as well. When he was absolutely on top of it all.
Oh yeah.
His stand-up routines were phenomenal.
There might have been some drugs involved. I don't know.
Possibly.
Go with the flow, I guess.
Hey, there was a time. There we go.
Yes, there was a time.
Okay.
I wish I could remember. I wish I could remember the time.
See, yeah. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Sometimes it's good that there wasn't you.
I know when someone walks up to you and goes, "Hey, aren't you the guy that did?" Oh God, really? Oh
God. Say no, it's my twin brother.
Exactly. Oh, I had that. That's what he's called Iggy.
Really?
I do have an alter ego. That if something bad happened, it was him. It was Iggy. It was not me. No, I was sitting right back there. Hell.
Yeah. I wasn't even in the room.
I never left the hotel. But he did.
Right. Get out of jail free card. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, it doesn't seem to take too long when we do these, but we've hit our final question already.
Okay.
And obviously some great things you've told us so far. I'm looking forward to the answer with this one for you. So we've put this in as a bit of a fun question. And in a moment when we finish the interview, you're going to get a call from the US Olympic Association. And they're going to call you up, and it could be for either the winter or the summer games. But the question is, what sport are they going to call you up for? What would you like to have a go at?
I have no qualifications in this. Curling.
Curling, right.
Yeah. I mean, I know how to sweep. I've been doing a hell of a lot of sweeping around the house these days.
Right.
So I'm half qualified. Skating, I don't know. But I don't think you can get really hurt that bad. I mean, I've heard people doing the bobsled. It's like, no, I think you could actually die doing that.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing.
I think the worst you can get with curling is a crushed toe.
Yeah. Oh, the rock might go over my toe or something. That would be about it.
Right. So something to get over. Curling. All right, we'll take that. That's there we go. Great traditional sport.
Did we have any other curlers out there?
We did have, somebody else did say curling. I'm trying to remember who it was now. But we've had one other curler, so we've almost got a team now.
We've got a team going.
Yeah. That's good. I think we've got a team of curlers, and we've almost got a bobsled team as well. There's been a couple.
Good.
We're definitely looking towards the Winter Olympics as being the favorite of the industry.
Perfect. I'm ready.
There we right. We'll put something together when everything gets back.
Hopefully it's worked before then. If not, I'm definitely going to be going for the Olympics. I tell you. Right. I can't lie to at least like the.
Fingers crossed we'll all be back at it before. Michael, this has been fantastic. It's been some brilliant answers. It's been fantastic to see your backyard there with that just incredible, absolutely incredible construction. And yeah, been wonderful to chat with you. So as always, just fantastically look forward to meeting up again in person when all of this is behind us.
Definitely, my friend.
Brilliant. Take care. And thanks again, Michael.
Thank you.